Damn, big, big energy indeed. That is the face of big dick energy. It's an honor to be granted to the personal audience. I am Goliath Osborne, representative of the Imperial Government. Why can I not talk sometimes? My apologies for the abrupt intrusion. So you are Chancellor Osborne. It's a pleasure to see you again as well, Your Highness. It's been a year since we last met, has it not? I hope these passing months have seen you well. Yes, a year sounds about right. Still, I status to appear at the castle without warning. I'd very much like to hear your side of the story. My apologies, Your Highness. You see, these past few days, I've been touring Eastern Erebonia on routine inspections. It's been going very smoothly, more so than I had initially anticipated. I had enough free time on my schedule to pay a cordial visit. Oh my, is that so? Naturally, I would have preferred to come here while the crisis was still unfolding like you yourself did, Your Highness. Unfortunately, the confusion in southern Erebonia was simply too pressing a matter, and I had no choice but to deal with that first. That was the first chance that presented itself. This is the first chance that presented itself to come here and meet directly with Her Majesty, so I acted with the utmost expediency. I hope you forgive my lack of proper decorum in failing to give advance notice of my arrival. That does make sense, at least. Regardless, please don't concern yourself with me. No doubt you wish to offer your greetings to Her Majesty. Thanks, Your Highness. Game locked up again. Oh, let me get my animation. Well then, allow me to extend my utmost heartfelt greetings to both Queen Alicia and Princess Claudia. It's abundantly clear that the crisis that unfolded here has been quite the ordeal for yourself and your nation's people. You have my deepest sympathies for the hardships you have endured, as well as my commendation for bringing the situation under control. I thank you for your kind words, Your Excellency. If anything, we should be apologizing to you for the fact that the southernmost side of your nation was caught up in what should have been our problem. We should be the ones going to you rather than having you trouble yourself to come all the way to the library. I beg you accept our apologies together with my deepest thanks for coming here today. I would never ask for apologies. I've heard what happened was the work of a shadowy organization stirring up trouble within your borders. While I meant well by sending a military force to aid you, I wouldn't have done something so careless had I known the truth of the matter. My actions were rash, foolish even, and I was rightfully reprimanded by His Imperial Majesty for them. Oh my. Unfortunately, His Highness the Prince was able to act with all the due haste to put right my misstep before even greater harm was done. I owe you a great debt of gratitude for that, Your Highness. And congratulations, besides, for your part in bringing an end to the crisis. Oh, I did nothing out of the ordinary. I had a lot of help from Her Majesty. From Her Majesty, Her Highness, and Brigadier General Bright here too. Bright, you say? Can you stop locking up on me? It is a pleasure to meet you, Your Excellency. I am Cassius Bright, a Brigadier General in the Liberalian Royal Army. The pleasure is all mine, I assure you. Your name is rather well known even in the Empire. Not as much as yours is known here in Liberal, I would imagine. It's an honor to be able to speak with you in person. It's certainly not a surprise to be able to, though. Coming here on a whim can't have been easy for a man as busy as yourself. It sounds as though I may have underestimated just how capable you truly are. Not at all. I am greatly impressed to see the Royal Army's effectiveness in dealing with the Tomat here. I cannot speak. Why? Your forces have proven powerful yet flexible, capable of dealing with emergencies aptly and decisively. I might go as far as to say it embodies an ideal that the Imperial Army, with its swollen ranks, could never hope to realize. You flatter us, Your Excellency. For your part, I hear you were responsible for the establishment of the Imperial Army's famed intelligence division. Our army is in desperate need of a new one of its own, so I find myself quite envious. It almost sounds as though the two of us each want what the other has. So it does. May I ask your excellency what you will be doing now? For my part, I intend to leave Libreville today, so I'm afraid I won't be around much longer. Yes, I've been told so. I believe you're intending to make your grand arrival to Hemdelair aboard the famous Aerosol? I'm impressed you're already aware. I almost wish I could return to Erebonia on board it alongside you, but alas, I'm afraid I have other business demanding my attention after I'm finished here. I'll be leaving Libreville separately this afternoon. That is a shame. I would very much have liked to invite you to this evening's banquet. Please, you need not go to such troubles on my account. I feel as though I put you out enough showing up unannounced as I did, to say nothing of dining with such esteemed company. Still, I do have some time before the airship I'll be leaving on is due to depart. That being the case, I might ask for a little of your time, Your Highness. I have a few things I'd like to discuss with you personally. Very well. I have some matters I would actually like to discuss personally with you as well. What a fortuitous coincidence. Allow me to have a room arranged for the two of you to have your discussion then. Hilda, if you would. Certainly, Your Highness. This cutscene goes on for way so long. Ominous music time. It's obvious that Her Majesty is quite the tea fancier, if this blend is anything to go by. The fragrance, the temperature, the taste. I'd be hard-pressed to find fault with any of it. I've always been more of a coffee man myself, but I have no doubt that I'd be content with a cup of this at my desk each morning. As much as I agree with you, I don't believe we're here to talk about beverages. So, shall we get right to the point? What did you want to discuss with me? I see your sojourn in Libreville has proven most fruitful. Pardon? When we last spoke, you struck me as a bright, flexible young man. And no doubt you still are, but now I see in your a resilience inner strength gritting those aspects. I'm sure His Majesty will be most delighted with your personal development. Meanwhile, I see you're the same fearless man I've always known you to be. More so, even, that crushing aura about you seems to have only grown with time. It's as if you feed on the resentment of those who live in the territories you annex. Such harsh words, Your Highness. Personally, I prefer the term political unification. Annex can carry such negative connotations, you know. Since the end of the 100 Days War, our army hasn't committed a single act of aggression. All of our unifications have been entirely peaceful. Oh, you're quite right about that. On the surface. Oh? It's amazing how similar the annexation process is every single time it happens. It starts with a small nation, our independent state, with an array of problems beyond repair. Those problems start to worsen, after which Jaegers and other dangerous elements enter, plunging public order to an all-time low. Desperate for a solution, a local government requests the help of the Imperial Army. Before you know it, they're part of the Empire. Well, that's not as though I can deny what you're saying. Each instance does share certain commonalities. Still, it's to be expected, an inevitable consequence of the age of unchecked growth and progress in which we live. The Imperial Army is simply acting in the Empire's best interest, helping to stabilize our neighbors for the good of the Empire. And it's understandable that they would. I do find myself rather curious why Intelligence Division members are going to such nations with such peculiar frequency. Well, before the problems I described worsen, no less. I won't press as to where you came by such information, as curious as I am, but I will say this. At its most basic level, these actions are about risk management. It's because we've been acting to minimize such risk beforehand that the army has been able to successfully quell each problem in turn. The small price of earning the disdain of the people in those nations, and increasing risk of terrorism in exchange. To tell you the truth, I'm rather astounded that you had the courage to come here to Lyrebro all on your own to begin with. After all, you've earned yourself the biggest target for terrorists in all of Erebonia. Your concern is touching, your Highness. I would ask that you not trouble yourself with my safety. I employ some very skilled subordinates tasked primarily with eliminating the risk of terrorist attacks against me. Really now. That lecturer is one of those, I assume. A rather peculiar fellow, isn't he? A very useful one all the same. Working out the scheduling for this trip and taking all necessary precautions to ward off terrorist threats were both his doing, and thanks to his commendable efforts, I can depart for Crossbell free from worries as soon as I finish my business here. Crossbell? Are you surprised? I'll be participating in a top-secret discussion with a representative of the Crossbell government. Recently, a large number of funding has been flowing into the country through Republican channels, putting our allies on the defensive. I had always meant to visit at some point, and this seemed to be the perfect opportunity. Are you out of your mind? Crossbell is full of enemies and different factions at each other's throats. I hear it's now even a hotbed for terrorists and criminal organizations because of its position as a buffer state. Does that really sound like the place the Erebonian Chancellor should be going even on an unofficial visit? I'm surprised to hear you advocating caution in the face of potential danger, Your Highness. After all, it was you who flew onto an ancient city at great risk to your own safety and returned unharmed after surveying it. Compared to such rousing risk-taking, my visit to Crossbell will be child's play. As I'm sure you're aware, you're regarded as something of a hero back in Erebonia now. To see a hero make his grand return befitting his newly minted legend, and aboard the famous Aerosol no less. Naturally, our hero has also taken the time to ensure that every well-known newspaper magazine are aware of his homecoming too. Oh, I have no doubt your triumphant arrival will be every bit as glorious as it has played out in your imaginings, Your Highness. Do be sure to capitalize on this chance as best you can to build yourself a firm foothold. I expect great things from you after all. Damn, this guy's playing fucking 4D chess. Game needs to load. Hey. kind of all-knowing, all-seeing divinity. That's what makes the world so interesting to me. Oh, I'm happy for you, Chloe. Knowing the pain of lost loves, what makes a girl blossom, in my humble opinion. Do you feel the whole experience lets you get a step closer to the person you want to be? Well, what about you? Do you feel you're getting closer to becoming the person you want to be? By being at the Chancellor's side? Kinda hard to do that when I don't have a person I want to be to begin with. I'm just sticking with him because it feels like it'll be fun, that's all. I've been doing it since before I joined the academy, in fact. You have? The prince is proving surprisingly capable, but he still isn't a match for the Chancellor. Tell him to watch his back, alright? So he doesn't get swallowed up by that monster after he gets tired of dancing. Goodbye, Letcher. Thank you for waiting. The Calabar's international airliner bound for the Principality of Rumeferia will be departing momentarily. Please mind your footing when boarding. So that was the blood in our Chancellor. I can't believe he actually went out of his way to use a civilian airship when he probably has a private one of his own. I heard rumors about how out of the ordinary he is, but he lives up to all of them. He keeps me on my toes, to put it playfully enough. Him aside, thanks for coming all the way to see me off, Scara. I was still lucky that I just happened to have business here at the right time. It feels like this was going to be the last chance we get to see one another for a while after all. Rather unfortunate, as my dream is, and always was, to live away my days in a lap of luxury surrounded by women as beautiful as you. Well, good luck with that. Changing the subject though, who was the young man to Chancellor's side? He didn't strike me as your ordinary guy. You could tell. But of course, I'd say I'm used to running into people who are out of the ordinary at this point. We've sure fought enough of them. His name's Letcher Arundel. He's a secretary who was sent here by the Imperial government. Apparently, he was the one who planned out all the details of the Chancellor's visit to Liberl. I can't pretend to know much regarding his background, but he's exceptionally skilled at what he does. Actually, I know him a little. What? Oh, is that true? Yes. Unbelievable. Then, someone connected to the Chancellor had visited Liberl first. Then he's very likely to have had his own veritable information network established here long before I even came up with the idea. I think it's safe for us to assume that's the case, which also means that it's safe to assume he knows every detail about what's happened here since. From the coup d'etat to the crisis regarding the Ariel, all of it. That man's got an unbelievable gets more unbelievable by the minute. He actually gave me a message to pass on to you earlier too. Watch your back so you don't get swallowed up by that monster when he gets tired of dancing. He sure knows how to sting where it hurts, doesn't he? I feel like I can see a whole new world of pleasure opening up before my eyes. He should know better. Getting outdone at every turn like this is really not my style. What do you mean? Captain Schwartz, I have a little favor I'd like to ask for when we're in the air. I'm rather impressed with how Prince Olivier has come along. No matter how he chooses to act from here on, he will have his uses, to be certain. You would say that given what you think of everyone as given that you think of everyone as your pawns. There's me, the princess, that society. Indeed, and I am much the same. We are but pawns in the vast game board that is the Empire, where a thrill like no other will take place. But it's because you too wish to see how that game plays out that you've chosen to stand with me, is it not? Well, hey, what could I say? Just don't forget that this piece right here might not be loyal forever, and such a betrayal would be perfectly fine by me. Or did you honestly think I would never consider the possibility it may happen? I just thought I'd come out and say it. Yeah, how the other Iron Bloods doing by the way? They're all doing very well by the sound of it. At the rate things are going, there's a chance of all the prince's efforts will be for naught. Perhaps I ought to hold back on him a little. You sure don't pull any punches, do you? Oh, you know something? I wouldn't write him off as easily if I were in your shoes. What? What? Those look like rose petals. If you look at the window on the right-hand side of the airship, you'll be able to see the famous high-speed cruiser, the Aerosol. We've been informed that it's on its way to the imperial capital with Prince Olivier of the Airborne Empire on board, but he has also given us a message to relay to all passengers on board today. I give my thanks to Audios for the good fortune that I've been able to meet you today. May your journey be filled with the beautiful roses and her blessing. And of course, may your journey to your homes be safe and pleasant one. That marks the end of his message. I never thought there was a bigger dumbass in the world than me, and yet here we are. Very well, debaucherous prince. I look forward to seeing what you can do. Show me how long you can hold out against me. I have to admit, that was a really good one. It was a divine eye. I have to admit, there was a really cool side story. It took 2 episodes to get it done, but you know, that's what happens with the very long ones. But I'll end this episode, and technically the last episode ended earlier too, but you know what? Ending it now. See all of you guys